Hello mga ka-learners! Welcome to Solar Learning. Today, we will learn about nonverbal communication. Do you know that we can communicate even without using words? This is called nonverbal communication. You have already studied verbal communication, which involves the use of words, in the first two lessons. All people, as well as animals, use nonverbal communication. The dog wags its tail and brings its leash to its master when it wants to go for a walk. Gorillas fold their arms as a signal that no harm is intended. People smile, frown, and use certain gestures to convey a message. In this lesson, you will study these and other nonverbal signals. After studying this lesson, you should be able to define the meaning of nonverbal communication or signals. Identify the ways by which nonverbal communication can be used and describe examples of nonverbal signals. Look at these pictures. Describe what you see. You see, just by looking at the illustrations, you were able to describe a range of possible emotions or messages being conveyed. You did not need written words to know what was happening. There are several ways by which people convey messages without the use of words or through silent body talk. They are described below. Number 1. Facial expressions. These are movements of the parts of the face, such as the mouth, eyes, and eyebrows. A smile, a frown, and a grimace are all facial expressions. Can you think of other expressions? Number 2. Posture. This is how a person holds up his body. A posture may be erect, bent, slouching, etc. A relaxed posture can mean that the person is also relaxed or at ease. A rigid posture tells us that the person may be tense, nervous, or alert. What is your body posture right now? Number 3. Gesture. This refers to the movements of the hands or parts of the body other than the face. When you wave your hands or nod your head, you are gesturing. Number 4. Spacing. This is the distance between people. Close friends tend to stand or sit close to one another while talking. Strangers tend to stay farther apart. Here are some examples of nonverbal signals. Most of these are facial expressions. They have been described for you. Can you interpret what the person is saying or feeling? Number 1. The boy is frowning hard. His lower lip is pushed out. Number 2. The corners of the boy's mouth are raised. Number 3. The girl is frowning slightly. A finger is placed at the side of her mouth. Number 4. The girl is looking at you. She straightens one of her fingers and bends it towards her. Number 5. The girl closes her eyes, opens her mouth, and breathes in deeply. We can easily express our feelings and emotions with nonverbal signals. They can express anger, joy, sadness, fear, and other feelings. But nonverbal signals cannot express an idea or a thing. For example, They cannot express such things as beauty, or the statements, "I want to go home," or "I want a TV set." As mentioned earlier, nonverbal signals are effective expressions of feelings and emotions. Why do you think this is so? The human body becomes an instrument by which feelings and emotions are conveyed. What the body feels, it expresses. Ideas or things, on the other hand, are better explained and expressed by using words. Nonverbal signals are representations of our feelings and emotions, whereas ideas or things are best represented in spoken words. There are two kinds of nonverbal signals: natural and learned. Natural signals are those which are inborn and universal. They are used by people all over the world. Even little children use them without being taught. Examples are smiling, frowning, and opening the eyes when surprised. On the other hand, learned signals are those which are acquired or learned by the child as part of the culture or community he or she belongs to. Examples are waving the arms goodbye and shaking the hands as a polite gesture when being introduced. Filipinos value traditions very much. It is not surprising then to find out that there are many learned signals inherent in the Filipino culture. These signals were handed down to us from generation to generation. A classic example would be kissing the elders' hands or pagmamano to show them our respect. Learned signals are taught to us early in our lives. These signals become part of what we are, both as individuals and as a nation. More often than not, it is the learned signals that make a certain group of people unique. One example of this is the Filipinos' fondness for a quick lifting of the eyebrows to greet each other. Let us not forget that unlike natural signals, learned signals are not universal. An example of this is the thumbs up sign, which is not a universally accepted gesture of okay or everything is fine. In some countries, such a gesture is actually obscene. To summarize this lesson, we can read nonverbal signals by studying a person's facial expressions, posture, and gestures. The contact and spacing between people also provide nonverbal clues. Nonverbal signals give us an idea of the true feelings of the speaker or sender of the signals. His or her true feelings may be different from what he or she is actually saying. That's the end of our lesson on nonverbal communication, mga ka-learners. I hope that you picked up something from our lesson in order to let you interpret others better. Kung gusto ninyong malinawan pa, huwag mag-atubiling. Mag-login sa inyong online account. Marami pang matututunan doon. See you on the next episode!